to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right? So much success that you have more than one place to be.
Fly break, touchdown, Oregon.
Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at the University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row.
Swing and a miss. Oregon is headed to the Super Regional.
Fans being out there making this a great impact.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Rivalry game eve and some Friday picks here in the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mac, Jerry Allen, Mike Jorgensen here. First road game of the season is in Corvallis.
I smell turkey. Is it almost Thanksgiving?
Yeah. I love first time I heard Brian Michalowski say that at practice, I was just like, he's right.
No.
He's right.
Yeah.
And I said this on Wednesday, guys. Like, can you remember the last time Oregon and Oregon State played each other when they were both undefeated?
Well, obviously we can't. We better not be able to, right?
Oh, gosh, I think I remember going to that game. It was like 1897,
exactly.
something like that.
128th meeting between the Ducks and the Beavs, one of the most contested rivalries in college football. It's still the most contested rivalry in men's basketball in college basketball history. So I'm looking forward to a great game, guys. And look, it's the biggest one because it's the next one. It's Oregon versus Oregon. It's Ducks versus them. It's all these things. All of that is true. You know what else can be true? It's Oregon State.
Yeah,
this is as big as it gets.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
It's what it is.
Yeah. It used to be, not that long ago, this was the game that made you able to live in the state of Oregon for the next year, okay?
That's true.
You weren't going to a bowl game. You weren't going anywhere. You're going to go play basketball. But the Civil War was your bowl game of the season. And, of course, that's all changed now. But it's got a little more vinegar in it this year because of the dissolution of the Pac-12, or at least – 10 of those teams leaving, but now maybe building that back up. And I think the Beaver fans and some of them kind of blaming Oregon. So there's a little chips on some shoulders. This is going to be an interesting matchup, George.
Yeah. Feel like they got left behind. I mean, that's one of those ones where, we've seen it, and it's been talked about. I run into, Beaver fans all the time that are like, hey, you guys, I mean, the reason why we're at is because of you guys. You took off on us type of thing. It's like, no, that's not quite the way it works. But you know what? It's not perfect. It's not at Thanksgiving time. It's not the last regular season game anymore. Guys are going to have to live with the bragging rights in the middle of the season, right? It's not you got a 9-month break until you come back to it. You got to live with it throughout the year one way or the other. But it is what it is, and these two teams are, I know, hungry to get at it, and it's fun. I mean, I love it. It's not perfect, but it's important that these two teams play and they continue to play this rivalry.
I agree. And look, let's maybe start there, but like talking bigger picture before this specific game. I think we all agree, I think everyone agrees that in all sports, continuing the rivalry is a great thing to do, Leadership in both schools have said as much. Is that complicated? Sure, it can be. Yeah. But also it means a whole heck of a lot to a lot of people, right? And again, 128 meetings.
Yeah. I think it means, Jorgie, and maybe I'm going to be off on this, I think this rivalry means more to the fans than anybody else.
Yes.
I mean, the teams are new, the coaches are new, media comes and go, but the fans have been around, families after families and generations of watching their Ducks or Beavers in this game and the anticipation of it, and then throwing mashed potatoes and gravy at each other over Thanksgiving dinner. It's the fans, Jorgie.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if this game doesn't go your way as a fan, depending on which side you're on, you don't get a chance to flush it and move on to the next game.
Right.
I mean, not that teams do. They maybe hold on to it for 24, 48 hours. We got to hold on to it for the rest of the season and another year until you get together, or until basketball or volleyball matches come up, or soccer matches or whatever else. But it's neat. Again, like I said, it's not perfect, but the importance of these two teams playing is big. And frankly, happy as all can get up for Washington State and Oregon State as to what's happening and a new league being reformed and maybe some additional teams to come in the future. I think it's going to be great. I think it's a great opportunity for those teams not to play great competition, but to get into the playoff picture.
Yeah, we'll see what the future holds. I mean, it's still – I remember I asked Rob Mullins this probably 2 years ago, a year ago, maybe even a month ago. And so is the dust going to settle anytime soon? And no, not really, right? I mean, that's just kind of the nature of where we are as conference realignment always seems to move the needle. And anyway, the point is it's Ducks and Beavers. It's in a renovated Reser Stadium. It's going to be a raucous environment.
Sell out.
Of course.
Sure.
Right? It should be.
Yeah.
So, in this particular game, what's it going to take to get a win?
Well, correct some issues. I think Ducks started, finding some answers to the offensive line, communication, opened some holes. Running backs were finding something, getting a little going. They cut down on the sacks in the second. So I think they're starting to find something. Now, you can't turn the ball over and shoot yourself in the foot with a penalty or something like that. But if they don't do that, I thought, Jorgie, in the second half, Oregon started to find itself offensively. Defense, I'm solid with the defense. They give up a 70-yard run. That's not okay. It's just not okay. You can't do that. But otherwise, I think play smart, safe football. Don't shoot yourself in the foot and you can be okay.
Yeah, it was nice to see Oregon in the second half of that game this last week play much more balanced football. They ran the ball better. They still threw the ball really well. But when you really look at Oregon, to me, and for Oregon State too, it's the ground game that's going to really dictate this game. Not only from a standpoint of establishing the line of scrimmage that sets up the pass, because the pass really gets set up by a good running game, but it's also the possession of the ball. Oregon State had it for 40 minutes last week against San Diego State. They kept San Diego State off the field. They converted third downs. They got ahead of the chains on first down. So all of a sudden it put the defense in a pickle, and they would have to crowd more people into that box that we talked about last week as the X's and O's piece of it. So to me, it's the running game for both of these teams this week and how they do on first down that sets up easy to make third downs.
You know, and everyone draws motivation for these games, from any game, from different places, right? Well, a lot has been asked. The last time the Ducks were at Reser, when it was being renovated, it was still a really loud, raucous environment, and I think it's safe to say the Beavers finished that game better than the Ducks did. Ran the ball really well, right? And I feel like Jordan James even said it like that. He took that hard, right? As a freshman in that situation, that goal line stand at the end of the game, that he took that really hard. Ducks are aware, right? Like the Ducks have thought about that, and I think that that's something that I really appreciate about, one, Coach Lanning and his culture, that, hey, this is a big game, and it's all over the facility, right? That they got it done against the Ducks 2 years ago. That's part one of that. And then part two on the run game, think about how well the Beavs ran the ball at the end of that game. Ducks are aware of that too. Ducks are thinking about it, and the run game is, to me, the most important thing, particularly against a defense like Oregon State's.
Yeah, I mean, they're giving up basically 77 yards a game on the ground, so that kind of reminds me of what Oregon did the last couple of years in their defense. So the Ducks are going to have to find a way to up that number. But I think, thinking of 2 years ago, I'm sure that's there, and the guys that were on this team are thinking about that. But I'm thinking more that this team is more focused on looking at what they did Sunday on the film review, and then Monday going back and trying to correct what they didn't do right and get better. I think that's more important to them. That's the focus, not what happened 2 years ago, what did happen the first 2 weeks that they didn't like.
Yeah, and Coach Lanning and staff have had a chance not only to see Jam Griffin and Hankerson at the running back position, but they've had a chance to look at the quarterback McCoy. Not only last week when they played, or 2 weeks ago when they played Idaho, and looking at Idaho's film from a year ago, the guy can move. The guy really moves well and throws the ball well too, and so that's an extra dimension to this game that Oregon's going to have to really take good angles on when they come on the pass rush or come on the blitz. Is if McCoy makes you miss, he's off to the races for some pretty good yardage. So that adds a little extra dimension, to the tailbacks being good too.
It's always a conversation point around winning football, explosive plays, right? I mean. On one hand, the Ducks had a couple explosion plays allowed in the run game against Boise State, but I think Coach Lanning would say, well, yeah, but you got to eliminate those. Now, on the Oregon side, we haven't seen many explosive plays, particularly in the run game. I feel like explosive plays are real key in this one. Maybe not just in the run game, but certainly it helps to have them in the run game.
Well, they missed a couple last week. I think Dylan Gabriel would have been, he had off the fingertip a couple of times with Evan Stewart. It would have been for big gains, maybe a couple of touchdowns. So you missed those opportunities, plays there to be made. I thought the running backs, both Jordan James and Whittington, Jorgie, we talked about this a little bit, if they can run through some ankle tackles. I mean, there's some holes there. The offensive line was giving them some room to run, so they're close. They really are close to getting those explosion plays.
Yeah, Jordan James talked about it.
He did.
I mean, he talked about it this week. Is he realizes there's some big plays to be made, and those shoestring tackles that you've got to be able to kick your way through and make a big play. That's how plays happen. Is sometimes the blocking is there, but you as a running back either have to make a move on somebody or break a tackle to be off to the races. And Oregon's been that close, but too many times, I think, and that's what Jordan James talked about this last week.
I think, too, in the passing game. I mean, Dylan Gabriel, certainly a conversation point. You mentioned the O-line earlier. I mean, limiting the sacks. Don't get behind the chains. I think that's a big deal, especially when you're on the road. To me, like I always say, quick start and don't get behind the chains on the road. I realize that's like the most generic keys to the game ever, Jorgie, but Jerry, it's true.
Well, they're
right?
They're basic facts that you have to address and be aware of, things that you have to get over. If you can't accomplish those, then you can't open up your game and do everything else. So, Jorgie, I used to say it all the time, they're behind the chains, penalty. 1st and 15 instead of 1st and 10.
Can't be in that type of situation.
You can't get behind the chains, and that really limits what you can do offensively.
Yeah, and Dylan Gabriel's been really good when he gets time. I mean,
that's the thing.
Yeah, he is.
You look at his completion percentage as it is right now, but you've also seen him sit back in the pocket, and when he has a chance to sit back in the pocket and take a full 4 or 5 seconds, there's no stopping him. And the plays and the receiver patterns downfield have a better chance to develop, but he also goes very quick to his safety valve. He knows what he's doing. He's been through it. He knows where number 1, 2, 3, and 4 are. And if you've got time, he's going to hit one of them.
Yeah, and it's hard to quantify, right, when he makes such quick decisions. But we saw that with Bo Nix. We've seen that with a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Just recently with Bo Nix. I mean, those quick decisions, sometimes that is the difference between a sack.
Yeah.
Right? Just needs a little bit more time, I feel like.
And Jorgie is a quarterback. Don't you think it takes a little bit of time, game or two, maybe 3, because practice, you don't get it. You get a red jersey and you can't hit the quarterback. He doesn't know when he's going to get sacked or not. But the time that a quarterback needs to get comfortable with knowing his offensive line and where they are and
vice versa.
And vice versa.
It goes both ways.
It takes a little time for that to develop. And
it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's a huge deal. I mean, you talk about chemistry. There's a reason that the defense is usually ahead in fall camp, and then the offense gets better as camp goes on and as the season goes on, right? Because timing, right, Jorgie? I mean, that's a huge deal.
It is. It is. And, again, the timing is having the confidence of the guys in front of you.
Yeah.
Making sure that you know when you make a check as a quarterback that it's going to be blocked based on the check that you make or that the center makes. And so it's a collective group type of thing that, it does sometimes take a few games to get there. And then when it does, watch out. I don't know if they're quite there yet.
I think they're close.
Yeah. I think they're close, too.
I think they're very close.
It's amazing, too. Like you think about no coach would ever say that there's one single click moment, right? Like, when did things click? Well, it takes time to develop, and I think we've seen that a little bit. I think we've seen that play out so far in 2 weeks, and now if you get closer to what would be considered that click moment, right? I mean, I've never heard a coach say that it just clicked on. There's always a development to that point, but I think we've seen some of those positives.
Yeah, it's not just one light bulb going on, and wow, all of a sudden we can see everything. I think it's a series of light bulbs that go on. Defensively, Bryce Betcher, all of a sudden, holy cow, jalapeno popper, I think that's what Coach called him this week. He's just all over. He made a great play with Genty coming out of the backfield. Was going to be a pass to him. He read it, got over, and knocked the ball away. I'm really excited about what our defense is doing already.
Yeah, he's making like 3rd or 4th year starting linebacker type of plays. I mean, and not only is he has a linebacker mentality and he'll headhunt people legally, on the field.
That's right.
But he's the instincts he has. I mean, not only on the baseball field and angles that he takes and the plays that he makes and giving up his body in certain type of situations. I mean, he is playing at such a high level right now. It's cool to see.
It is.
I mean, you just don't see that two-way athlete very often at college. I don't care what the two sports are, play at that high of a level. And he's doing it right now in football.
Pro Football Focus is grading him as one of the better linebackers in the country. Also, he's an Oregonian. He knows what this means.
Kind of like, oh yeah.
Yeah. If there was a game where he was gonna have a nice performance, this would be a fun one for it. I'll just put it that way. Yeah. Okay, hard hitting question. Rob says that I need a better. I think ORG dot means original nickname. Suggestions are wordplay and wordplay by play whisper. I'm either missing something and I'm deferring to the entire intern crew, or you guys got to help me out. I guess I need a new nickname, Jerry. Yours wore off after 10 years.
A nickname? What? Do you have a nickname?
I'll have to think about that a little bit.
Jorgie.
Jerry.
Joey
Mac.
Rob, what do you got for me? Wordplay by play whisper. I don't know. I think I'm missing something.
I'm not going to go for that.
I'm missing something.
Yeah, I'm lost.
Okay. I'm going to defer to Austin, so Caden. Ryan's here today, too.
We'll think of something.
So help me out if I'm missing something. When we come back, it's time for some picks. It's going to be a good week of picks, folks.
Yeah.
And Ducks and Beavs coming up. More keys to the game. Wow. Jerry and Jorgie are here. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We're in the Country Financial Studio. Jorgie's here. Jerry.
J-Mac.
I guess.
I mean, we came up with 4 names that we can't say on the air while we were during the time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I will never forget. My dad used to always suggest Joey Mac, and then you said it on a show, like first or second time I did Duck Insider with you, and you were like, "No, your last name's too long. This is not going to work." And here we are.
That. Yeah,
it was a good day. All right, so where we are in picks, we had some interesting games. I got Duke while you guys missed Northwestern. However, Jerry got Illinois. Jorgie and I missed Kansas, which means that Jerry and I both went 11-3, and Jorgie went 10-4.
That's still really good.
But Genty went 70 yards. That's not good enough. If you
okay. I hear you.
Right? We heard that loud and clear.
Yes, we did.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah. Dang right.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, this is good. Steve suggested master regurgitator. I often say I'm just a master regurgitator. That's pretty good, actually. I like the
I
creativity.
have a picture of
Steve.
stuff coming out of your mouth that is not words.
No.
I don't like that.
But
name.
you guys know, like that's what part of what we are. I joke about it, but really we're just regurgitators. Listen to people that are smarter than us and say it on the air. You know?
I like repeat better than regurgitate.
No, regurgitate is more fun to say. Way more fun to say.
Regurgitate could mean
Georgie's like, what
things.
are we doing here?
Yes, I regurgitated that dinner last night.
So I've got a 1-game lead after the
Changed
the week
subject
that was.
really quickly, didn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't even go there.
No, not going to. I have a 1-game lead. Jerry is a game behind me. Georgie behind Jerry by 2. And I would just like to remind everyone that after you all I'm not even going to go there. After you all just decided to have a deferral that could roll over from week to week. No, that's not what we said.
You can't just hope the other team forgets about it.
Lose it or use
it.
it.
You got to talk. You have to say, listen, I'm going to go ahead and defer and save it to next week. You just glossed it over.
Yeah,
hoping
because
we'd miss it, and we did.
Because I never used my deferral, which means I have 2 this week.
Which means you forgot to use your deferral.
No, truthfully, the one I was going to use it on was Duke Northwestern, and I just went with Duke, and then here we are.
So you got 2 deferrals this week.
Yeah, and maybe 3 next week.
So
now here's the
he'll have maybe 3 next week if he declares that he's going to save his deferral.
So now we're saying that we have to declare if we're not going to use it.
So what we're going to do here to simplify this is we're going to allow you to use your 2 this week. But now we're voting that you cannot carry over deferrals. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, well that's all it took right there.
So you can use your 2 this week. Now, next week, you and I will vote that we're going to carry over.
We may change.
I just don't. Yeah, okay.
I mean, do we need to have Scott be a tiebreaker?
No.
There's
3 of us.
Right.
He would make it.
I know.
He can make it a tie.
No, but we would vote. We would vote on whether Scott's going to be a tiebreaker or not. So I know what that vote would be. No, because you may vote yes, but we're going to vote no.
So do you want to keep the deferral?
CRI.
Ryan's going to do baseball interviews, by the way, everybody. They'll be on Godok's YouTube later.
Do we want to keep the deferral?
I think we keep the deferral. We're going to allow him this week to have.
But But are we allowed to not use the deferral and have it carry over? Still?
Well, no. We're going to vote that is not.
So if I don't
week,
use my 2 this week, they're lost. They're
lost. They're lost. Yeah.
Okay. Well, fine. Whatever.
We could not let you use 2, but
no, you can't. That's voted in.
Well, we can vote it.
We can vote on it. Yeah.
Okay, I would like to vote that Georgie is eliminated from pick.
Well, I basically am already.
Oh, no.
I'm 3 behind, and I'm going to have a hard time gaining.
Lot of season.
All right, the first game on the schedule, number 4 Alabama visits Wisconsin in the 9 a.m. Fox game. So I've got first pick. Do you have a coin? Do I need to get you a coin,
I'm not
Jerry?
going to. Georgie's going to have to flip. I'm not going to be able to flip today.
Georgie, you're
I
up.
can't catch that coin. or
do you want me to flip?
You flip it to me and I'll catch it.
If I can kind of do it can I turn my head and flip it?
Just don't drop it.
It's just the lights coming right at me and losing it.
Do you want me to flip?
Sure.
Okay, I'll flip this week. That feels like the expedient thing to do.
Do we need to vote on that?
No, let Joey take it.
Yeah. Wesley says I'm the facilitator. I like this from Jeremy. How about Mac Quack? That's hard to say. Mac Quack. McQuack?
McQuack?
Mac Quack. I could get into that.
I like J-Mac.
The facilitator is, I don't think I'm a very good one. We'll put it that way. Picks continue. Brought to you by Seven Feathers Casino Resort, best in the Northwest. All right, Alabama, Wisconsin. I feel like this is a game where there will be conversation, win or lose, for either of these teams at the end of the season. This is one of those marquee non-conference games that if Wisconsin ends up making a run in the Big Ten, this is one that goes, they're probably in that 12-team playoff. I was a little surprised, to be honest with you all, to see that Alabama was a 16-point favorite.
That did surprise me.
On the road. And I think Alabama has, to be honest, looked a little like Oregon at times, where there's been some inconsistency. I think it's closer than a 16-point game, but I am going to take Alabama. I think Alabama gets the win.
Yeah, I think that Alabama has got better talent overall. They're just deeper, more talented. They're going into Camp Randall, which is a really tough place to play, but I don't think Wisconsin's going to be quite at that level, certainly early enough in the season to take down, that program at Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, the Wisconsin student section may do the jump song, and that stadium sooner or later is going to go down. I mean, it's been around for like 100 years, that stadium, but I don't know how it hasn't collapsed at that end where the students do the jump, and it's cool to see, so I hope it never does, obviously. If it does, with nobody in it, okay?
Yeah, that's right.
But bottom line, I just don't think Wisconsin is explosive enough. I don't think they have gotten to the point where they're consistent enough to be able to keep up in a game if it all of a sudden becomes a high-scoring game. And so I'm taking Alabama in this one. I just think they're better on offense. They're just as good on defense. It'll be a fun place for them to play, but they're just better than Wisconsin.
Our Armed Forces coin, which is the one that stays on the desk. I think that one's from you, isn't it?
That is a Tails. No, that's not from me.
Well, yeah, this is the Armed Forces Classic.
Yeah, it's was that one of our spring game coins?
No, this one's from November 3rd. This is, I think, when Oregon played basketball on the airbase.
Oh, yes, it would have been. Yeah, that was for me. That was for me.
So that was November 8th. This one's been the backup coin on the desk for just such an occasion. Duck head, obviously, is heads. It was tails. Jerry can confirm.
Yes,
that's the road team
tails.
in Wisconsin. Big Ten Network also at 9 a.m. Arkansas State visits Michigan. Does Michigan get a bit of a bounce back after what was a convincing win by Texas? I thought Texas looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Michigan looked okay. I do think Michigan gets a bounce back at home, but boy, I'll tell you, the Big House sure was quiet last week.
Immediately.
Yeah. If they're playing anybody other than Arkansas State, they probably would struggle a little bit, but I just think the programs are too far apart for Michigan. Because Michigan's going to play better. They have to. If they don't, it's going to be a long, long year. So I think they find a little something. They're at home. Their fans will help them out, and they're against an opponent that should not do that well.
It's you, isn't it?
I already picked.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, that's right. You're
Michigan.
in the lead.
Yeah, I sure am. Thank you for reminding me.
I wasn't even listening to it.
Yeah, well, he just talks.
Michigan.
You know what, my this is true on the nickname front. Brooke Robinson, the new head of marketing here in Oregon Athletics, she has referred to me as a professional yapper.
Oh, so you're a dog.
Pretty much. Dead on.
Where are we going today?
Hey, look, it's rivalry week.
Michigan, by the way. I didn't know.
Yeah, Michigan. Okay,
coin.
I can flip the coin. Yeah, that's a
yap.
Heads.
Michigan. I like professional yapper. I think it fits. You know, that's what we all are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Professional yapper. 9 a.m. on Peacock, Central Michigan visiting Illinois. I've got Illinois by a few touchdowns.
Not anymore talking about Illinois. Yeah. Is it Central Michigan the Chippewas? Are they the Chippewas?
Yeah. Yes.
They're Chippewas.
Yeah. I tell you what. I mean, Illinois did a great job last week against Kansas.
Sure did.
You know, I think I gave Kansas too much credit and didn't give Illinois enough.
Same. I regret that decision greatly. Because otherwise it could have been a 2-game lead.
And the coin was? What was the coin?
Oh, I'm sorry. The coin was heads.
That
would be
That's right.
Illinois. Next up is 12:30 on Fox, Oregon State. We hope that we'll see all of you in Corvallis. Also at 12:30 on CBS and Paramount Plus. Number 18, Notre Dame, coming off a...
Wow, that was a shock.
That was fun to watch, though. Wasn't that fun? That's what college football is all about.
No, it was.
I mean, that's what college football is all about. Surprised they were still ranked?
Are you kidding me? It's Notre Dame.
I don't know.
Their history and who the name Notre Dame gets them numbers.
Yeah, I hear you. I just, you lose at home to a good program in Northern Illinois.
Yeah, it's a pretty good program.
I mean, they're consistently good, but I don't know. I was a little surprised. Like, that's where the polls I just start to go.
So where were they ranked? Where did they drop from?
They were like number 5?
Yeah.
5,
I'm not surprised they're still ranked. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, Notre Dame visits Purdue. Going to be a close game, I think. I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, how does Hudson Card play?
I think
right? For Purdue. I mean, they can get any play out of their quarterback. They can hang in there.
I was deciding if I was going to defer that one. I'm going to take Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame bounces back.
Kind of a little nice in-state rivalry, isn't it?
It is. It's
kind of cool, yeah.
It's early enough in the season for me to gamble on this one, so I'm going to do that. I just think that Notre Dame is not there yet. I don't know how long it's going to take them to find or get there. and Purdue's at home, and it's a rivalry game. I don't know why. My gut tells me that I didn't have breakfast or lunch, and I thought John Sargent was coming in today, and he's not. And so I'm really upset.
Road game.
Road game. So I'm going to go Purdue. I think Purdue gets this one, Jorgie.
All right. I don't think that's a bad pick.
I don't either.
I really don't. In my opinion, Notre Dame's defense is good enough. Is good enough to help win the game for them. I just don't think Purdue's going to score enough points, and Notre Dame is. And Notre Dame's defense is really good. I don't care if that's home or on the road, so I'm taking the Irish.
Okay. Coin flip.
It is heads.
Heads. That would be Purdue. All right. I think I like that. All right, quick timeout. When we come back, we got more in the 12:30 window, including another rivalry game. Washington.
Hey, by the way, does Purdue still play on grass?
Don't know.
Okay.
That's going to be a search.
I'll have to look that up
during the break. We'll let you know. Hard hitting when we come back on Duck Insider. More picks brought to you by Seven Feathers Casino Resort. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Confirmed. Bermuda grass for Purdue.
How about that?
I like that.
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mac, Jerry Allen, Mike Jorgensen, Country Financial Studio. Continuing with our picks of the week, brought to you by Seven Feathers Casino Resort, best in the Northwest. We just picked Notre Dame and Purdue. Now 12:30 on Big Ten Network. Prairie View A&M visits Michigan State. That's what I'm thinking. I think Michigan State wins large.
Yeah, I think they're a 40-point favorite right now, and that line probably would go to 60.
40.5.
40.5. Oh, okay. I might change my mind then. Yeah. Michigan State.
Get to 3-0, right? I mean, they're going to be happy. Undefeated.
Yeah, no, Michigan State.
How about that? Yeah.
Game we can't watch.
Coin.
Can't watch that game. Tails.
Tails.
All right.
Michigan State. All right. Excuse me, Prairie View A&M. Prairie View A&M. That is such a long title that it, without an abbreviation, did not fit on my spreadsheet. So they're just PVAM. I apologize to Prairie View A&M if that is not an acceptable abbreviation for your university. Nevada and Minnesota coming up. 12:30 also on the Big Ten Network. I feel like Minnesota wins this one pretty convincingly. Nevada has still been a struggle. It's been struggling over the last few years, and they haven't been able to get it going. I like Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm going to go along with that. I think Minnesota, especially being at home, that's a tough place to play. They've got a great crowd atmosphere. Nevada is still might be trying to get that program where they want it to be. They're not there yet. I'll go Nevada.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I like that pick for everybody. For our crew that's doing the polls, that's Heads, by the way. That's the home team in Minnesota. Caden is over there furiously inputting the polls. For those of you that are with us on YouTube, you get to vote in the polls. When we go quickly, there's a chance for people to vote maybe like for 5 seconds. So,
Should I slow down a little bit?
No, I think it's fine.
Okay.
It's I think everyone's on the same page as us. Also a 12:30 game. A lot of 12:30 games that we'll be keeping track of when Oregon plays at Oregon State tomorrow. On Peacock, Washington State 2-0.
I'm excited for this game.
Washington 2-0. I'm deferring.
Okay, I'm going to go slow and give our voters a chance to vote while I try to figure out.
You didn't think I would defer that, did you?
Did you use your deferral the first week?
Oh, yes. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I
couldn't remember if you did.
You know what? It's a neutral site, sort of. It's not going to be a Husky Stadium. It's not going to be in Pullman. But there are enough Cougar fans in Seattle that this becomes a real neutral site game, I think. And I'm going to go on a little bit of a limb here. It's actually a leaf stem. It's even weaker than a limb. I'm going to go with Washington State. I'm going to go with the Cougars.
Yeah, I don't even feel like that's a limb, frankly. I mean, I think Washington State's every bit as good or maybe even better so far. I mean, the way that they played against Texas Tech at home, and they put points on the board. They got a quarterback that can move around. They're always going to throw the ball all over the place. And I just think, again, with that continuity of coaching with Jake Dickert, I'm taking Washington State. Go Cougs.
Yeah, I wanted to take Washington State too.
Well, you still can.
I'm going to.
Okay.
I like the Cougs. It was either this one or Indiana UCLA that I was going to use the bonus deferral on. Should have used it on Indiana UCLA. I think Washington State's going to win, and I'm surprised they're not favored. Honestly.
Yeah, I think Washington State's pretty good.
I think Washington State is very good. I think that Washington – look, I think that Coach Fish demonstrated the X's and O's are there during his time at Arizona, but I think that the continuity of that team and the rivalry factor, maybe that doesn't matter as much as I think it does. I think it matters, and it is a neutral site game to me. I think Washington State wins. I was really surprised that Washington was a near touchdown favorite.
Me too.
I like the Cougs get done.
I just don't think that Coach Fish has got enough Jimmys and Joes yet. He
Agreed.
will. He will. I mean, he's going to bring it, but it takes more than a year.
Yeah. The coin flip was tails. Washington State also the pick because Washington is officially the home team listed. 1 o'clock on Fox Sports 1, Troy visits Iowa. I don't think that Troy will score in the double digits. Iowa wins.
I don't think that Troy will score. Iowa wins.
I was going to think about saying that. I agree. Iowa wins. Okay. Defense all the way.
Oh, yeah.
It was surprising that we all did not
What's
think
the over-under on that one? Do you know?
38.5. Yeah, how about that? But I think we were all a little surprised Iowa lost, especially the way that the Hawkeyes lost.
Yes.
Gave it up late.
Yeah.
Gave it up late in a rivalry game last week. I've got Iowa there. All right, continuing. Big Ten Network, Northern Iowa visits now number 23 ranked Nebraska. Nebraska's in the top 25. Nebraska dominates this game, guys.
Nebraska is back. All right, they've got it back. They're not all the way back, but they're back enough that when they play a game like this, they're back. So yeah, Nebraska.
Very solid and headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'm taking Nebraska.
Yeah, I didn't flip for the last game. It was tails, which would be Troy. Tough pick for the coin. Next flip. Oh, hit the laptop.
Wow.
We're okay. Heads. Nebraska. You know, we were talking about this last week. Like, is Nebraska back? I think we're seeing that Matt Rule's just a darn good coach. I think that they are going to be pretty doggone competitive.
And they've got a great home field advantage too.
They do.
I mean, that's worth 3 points at least, if not more.
The more the quarterback plays, each and every game is just going to get better and better and better. I mean, you kind of saw last week with the talent, but the limitations of lack of play against Colorado, because I thought they should have beat Colorado worse.
Yeah.
But he's just going to get better and better and better.
I feel like, I think back on when Oregon went to Nebraska. One, I don't think I was ever welcomed to a town more in one day than I was ever welcomed to Lincoln. Like that fan base, that staff was awesome. Truthfully, I think it's good for college football when Nebraska is doing this. When a school like that has a fan base and a tradition like that is getting it going, I think it's good for college football.
Yeah, Nebraska's got one of those big names that people generationally remember. I think, Jorgie. I mean, you think back years and years ago, Nebraska was the national champion. They had the big stars, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and a lot of they used to beat up on people. I remember going back to Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just
They will forever be the Fighting Scott Frost.
But me too. But just think about this, guys. Think about the years that they've struggled. And they have packed that stadium, and the fans have stayed there with them through thick and thin, every seat filled. I mean, that's the true powerhouse type of team that I've always thought of as.
Yeah,
so.
Agreed. Also, hard-hitting now. Rob Back said was away from the keyboard. Joey Mac is ideal. Did not like schmuck. I like broadcast schmuck. I introduce myself as broadcast schmuck to anyone that I meet. It's appropriate. It fits my personality. Jerry's like, why do you do this to yourself?
I just can't call in public or on the radio. I can't call you schmuck because it just it just seems like I'm, verbally attacking you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But I'm doing it to myself, which makes it. I'm just
You might have a little tiny hammer to hit yourself in the head. I'm Joey Mac.
Yeah,
I'm a schmuck.
Hey. That fits my personality, too.
No.
It does.
No.
Oh. Well, thanks, Rob. I appreciate that. All right, we're going to get a timeout. It's Picks of the Week brought to you by Seven Feathers Casino Resort, best in the Northwest. 3 more games to pick, including 2 that are tight, according to Vegas. We'll see what the picks are and some more keys to the game between the Ducks and the Beavs coming up. Back to the Country Financial Studio in a moment on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear summer vacay, load up on fun in a new Toyota. Go off-road in the 4Runner, haul it all in the Tundra, play hard in the Tacoma, or take the scenic route in the all-new all-hybrid Camry. Visit Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear summer vacay, load up on fun in a new Toyota. Go off-road in the 4Runner, haul it all in the Tundra, play hard in the Tacoma, or take the scenic route in the all-new all-hybrid Camry. Visit Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says,
avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Ma, is this how you feed a hamster?
I think so.
Is my homework right?
I think so.
Is, this milk still good?
I think so.
When it comes to parenting, sometimes it's okay to think you know. But when it's something as important as your child's car seat, don't just think. Know. Double check if your child is in the right seat for their age and size. It'll help protect them in a car crash. Don't just think. Know by visiting nhtsa.gov/the right seat. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Ducks and Beavs coming up tomorrow. 12:30 kickoff. We'll have a 10:30 pregame show from Corvallis. Joey Mac, Jerry Allen, Mike Jorgensen. Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Our picks brought to you by Seven Feathers Casino Resort. All right, next, 4:30 on NBC and Peacock. Indiana against UCLA in the Rose Bowl. A 1-0 UCLA team. The way the schedule has fallen, they've already had a week off.
A bye week.
Big Ten play begins for the Bruins against Indiana. This is expected to be a really close game. 80 degrees at kickoff in Pasadena. Okay. I'm going Indiana.
How do you think Indiana feels going to play in the Rose Bowl?
Which is exactly why I'm picking Indiana.
I
think
think
that's
about that.
An awesome thing. Indiana hadn't been to a Rose Bowl, I don't think, ever.
Not
in my lifetime,
Nope, that's
right?
I remember. Nope.
So that's one of these cool things with the Big Ten has always had that Rose Bowl connection, right? How many teams are excited to go play? It's not the Rose Bowl. It's UCLA at the Rose Bowl. But I'm taking Indiana for that. Great weather. Indiana's going to be thrilled to be there. Indiana gets a road win. I hope I'm not wrong. Jerry?
Well, Garber's pretty good, but I don't think he can carry this team. UCLA's got no run game. I mean, they're not running the ball much at all. And Indiana runs the ball, 325 yards a game. So they'll keep the ball away from UCLA, score a little bit, and I just don't think the Bruins can keep up. So I'm going to go with Indiana as well.
Wow. Indiana played somebody last week that they should beat bad, and they did beat bad, and they looked good doing it, Jerry. And you talked about the run game. Last week the run game was spot on. And so, I agree with Jerry. I think the opportunity, if I was a player and I played at Indiana and I knew there probably wasn't much of a chance I'm ever going to be able to play in the actual Rose Bowl game on New Year's Day or whenever they play that, but right around New Year's, this is your golden opportunity. I mean, and cool.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
just so
with ya.
cool. So I think Indiana plays their peak game. I think they win this game.
The one thing on this, and UCLA did not look great at Hawaii. All right, it's at Hawaii. It's the first game of the year. I don't know. They've had extra time now to get ready for this game. But for all that being said, I totally am with you. I think Indiana went. Dang,
Yeah, you thought you were going to make up some ground there, didn't you?
Make up ground.
Yeah. On the coin?
On the coin. 12 down. Coin took heads, by the way. That's the home team in UCLA.
Right.
Jeremy in the YouTube chat, confident in his UCLA pick, which probably means that we are all going to be wrong, and that's okay.
Well, they
So
had an
far-
extra week. They had an extra week.
Yeah.
But
So far, the only game of interest in Pick'em, at least, is Notre Dame and Purdue. Next up in our Big Ten picks, we've got 4:30 Big Ten Network, Eastern Illinois against Northwestern. I got Northwestern.
yeah, nobody's even putting a line on this game because it should be lopsided. Northwestern at home should win this game easily.
Yep, Northwestern. Me
All
too.
right. The coin flip. That was a bad flip. Tails. That's Eastern Illinois.
That was kind of a spiral.
Yeah. It wasn't my best work, I'm going to be honest with you. You want me to reflip? Does the
No.
coin?
No.
Okay.
No,
Coin
it's
doesn't
okay.
deserve a reflip. All right. Maryland, Virginia. The last game of the day, 5 o'clock on ACC Network. And, of course, because I would lose it unless I used it based on the voting of these two, I'm going to defer.
And they are playing at Virginia. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, they are.
Yes. Maryland 1. I'll do the full intro still. Maryland 1-1 visits Virginia 2-0 in Charlottesville. 73 degrees, partly cloudy. Jerry gets to pick first.
I should have looked more closely, Jerry, at this game to see who
Well-
Maryland lost to and who who Virginia beat in their 2-0.
Yeah,
Do you have notes on that?
Well, neither team rushed for 100 yards. So this is going to be football's in the air both sides, although I'm sure somebody's going to try to develop a ground game. But I just think Virginia is a good football team. 2-0, okay. I just think Maryland's a better football team, and I'm gonna pick Maryland to go on the road and win that game.
Joey, do you have any information in front of you? Are you looking up information in relation to who has
So Virginia beat Richmond 34-13 and then won a doozy at Wake Forest 31-30. Maryland, of course, lost to Michigan State last week by a field goal, and then they crushed UConn to open the season.
Okay.
Maryland's been a solid team of late.
Yeah. I thought they played pretty good against Michigan State, and then Michigan State kind of got it going late. I hate to say I'm going with Jerry here. I was gonna say exactly what Jerry said. I think Maryland goes on the road and beats Virginia, who's solid at home, but I think Maryland's a decent team, and I think better on the road. Yeah. I think they take out Virginia. There's your chance right there.
Coin. Heads. Home team in Virginia. Yeah, tough pick. I was looking at like you, Jorgie, looking back at the schedules, and the truth is I feel like this is the kind of game that's the either springboard or the nosedive potential game early in the season. But like, if you're Virginia, you get a win here, you go 3-0, you're heading into the ACC feeling great. You're Maryland, you get a win coming off a close loss, you feel pretty good about it. I think it's a potential springboard game for both sides. Vegas has this Maryland favored by 1, expecting it to be a really, really close game. Well, Jerry went with Purdue, which would be his chance to tie me in the picks, and just to have some fun late in the evening. I honestly have no idea who's going to win this game. I think it's a true coin flip, and because I like picks to be fun and for us to have something to text each other about after the game, Virginia.
Wow.
I just think it's early in the season.
No.
You got to have a little fun.
You've got balls.
You got
balls. You got softball. You got softball there. You got
basketball,
baseball there, basketball,
football.
volleyball. Yeah, I like that.
I think that it's a
glad
chance.
you did that.
It's a chance for us to have some fun late at night, and truly, I think it's a coin flip game. Whoever has the ball last wins.
It is fun sitting at home after we've gotten home with my phone, waiting for one of you guys to lay it out and go, well, nice try. Not.
I think this is a good week, though.
It is a good week.
There's 3 games, really, for me that were tough picks. Oddly, Wisconsin and Bama, if you asked me week 0, would that be one of the 3 tough ones? I probably would have said yes, but I was surprised to see a 16-point favorite for Alabama.
It might still be, though.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But that's why they play the games, right?
Yeah. I thought Purdue Notre Dame was a tough pick for me.
Agreed. Yeah, so Jerry's going Purdue. Jorgie and I take Notre Dame. Jerry and Jorgie go Maryland. I'm going to take Virginia, which means what's going to happen is Notre Dame and Maryland are going to win, and then everything stays exactly the same in the standings.
I'm happy with that. I'd take that in a heartbeat.
If that happened, Jorgie would gain a game.
Good. All right.
Okay. I need to get back in it.
Yeah. You'd gain a game on us.
3 feels like a long way
But
behind.
only 2 behind Jerry.
Now,
if you're playing for second place.
Purdue wins. If Purdue wins and Maryland wins.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said Purdue and Maryland wins, then we're.
If Purdue and Maryland win, then you and I are tied.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there is but
then I don't care about your second place. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. If Purdue wins, then it gets interesting. Yeah. All right. Actually, if Purdue and Maryland win, you jump me. Because I'd lose on Notre Dame and Virginia,
that's right.
so you jump me.
Okay.
So that probably means it's going to completely go backwards, and we're going to have to get a timeout.
I get to pick first next week.
7 Feathers bringing you our picks of the week, best in the Northwest. Quick timeout.
If you do you get a deferral?
2, because I may carry one over.
Do you all see what I deal with? The facilitator earlier, clearly not a good job. Back after this, final keys to the game for Ducks and Beavs on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember, back to the land of my first love. Would you spread while you're off for this wayward son? I left my heart.
Final segment on a Friday. Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mac, Jerry Allen, Mike Jorgensen. 10:30 pregame show. Trayshawn Holden among our guests. He was great talking with Dusty Hara. Bryce Betcher talking with Ryan Milano. I talked to Joe Lorig, a guy who's from the state of Oregon. He had great things to say about this rivalry. This week in Duck football history, Tennessee, is that right? What are you doing this week?
Yeah.
Oh, what a great game.
Great game.
Yeah.
The Johnny Munt game is how
The
I
Johnny
remember
Munt,
it.
yeah, right. I agree. When I was going through that, I thought, that's right. Johnny Munt just killed it in this
Munt
game.
Madness.
The Lightning game.
He's having a nice NFL career.
He is.
Yeah.
He really has had a nice NFL career. So that's all coming up. 10:30 pregame show from Corvallis, just after 12:30. The kickoff. It's a big game.
Yep.
Well,
It's a big game.
Oregon hasn't. Until I looked at this, I didn't realize Oregon hadn't won up there since 2018.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Been a while.
Yeah.
And the Beavers were somewhat successful at Autzen Stadium during that. Oregon over the last 15, 18 meetings has been dominant, but it's a rivalry game, and so toss all that stuff out.
Both teams and both staffs know it's a really big game.
Yeah.
Trent Bray's done a nice job there so far.
Yep.
Hometown guy, Oregon State guy, all the stuff that goes with it type of deal. There's a lot of sense of pride on both these teams to play really well tomorrow up in Corvallis, and that's why I'm really looking forward to the game. I think it's going to be a physical game.
Agreed.
Both teams are really going to get after each other in the trenches.
Defensive coordinators turned head coaches. That's why it's going to be physical.
Yeah. I'm with you.
It'll be fun.
It is going to be fun. I hope.
Looking forward to seeing a finished Reser Stadium, too. We haven't been out there since they finished it.
Yes.
Yep.
Mike Jorgensen, Jerry Allen. I'm Joey Mac. 10:30 pregame show. Thanks for joining us all week. Bye week next week. Weird. I don't know if we'll make picks next week. I guess we'll find out. See ya.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.